And the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Government has become too big, too overtaxing, and is constantly over-regulating every aspect of your life.
If you agree with that, tune into Consumer Choice Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. here on the Big Talker 106.7 FM. With me, Yael Osowski.
And me, David Clement. For an hour, you'll get expert analysis on what the government is sinking its teeth into next, and how you, as a consumer, can push back.
ConsumerChoiceRadio.com.
Folks, we all know ongoing road construction and traffic can weigh heavy on your vehicle. Since 2006, O'Leary's Automotive Repair has provided comprehensive repair services at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. Their ASE-certified technicians will help you find a cost-effective repair and maintenance alternatives. O'Leary's has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Bringing you the best local talk radio shows, Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, WFBT, Carolina Beach. When you purchase a Golden Technology lift and sleep chair from US Med Express at 1733 Dawson Street, you get the benefit of a lift assist chair, a recliner, a memory button chair, a zero-gravity chair, a Trendelenburg device, and a sleep chair, all in one of the most comfortable pieces of furniture you have ever experienced. Our chairs lead the industry in power lift recliner features and advances in technology. Our chairs are FDA certified as medical devices, which means it's 100% tax deductible, and helps with a number of medical conditions, including arthritis, poor circulation, and sleep apnea. Give us a call today at 910-500-6162 or stop by and experience our chairs for yourself at 1733 Dawson Street. That's 910-500-6162. 1733 Dawson Street in Wilmington. US Med Express.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County residents are expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library Tuesday evening, including community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys. The event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts, and was intended for children ages 7 and under. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. One parent who attended with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them. The Cape Fear Proud Boys released a statement saying, in part, quote, "Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating 2 consenting adults to introducing sexuality to small children. As concerned citizens, we will continue to utilize our First Amendment rights to ensure public events for children are age appropriate." Also in New Hanover County, the school approved its annual budget, which included a raise for much of the staff. The minimum wage will get a bump up for all classified staff, meaning non-teaching staff assigned to positions that don't require any certifications. Starting this year, entry-level pay for those positions will be just over $15 per hour. Tuesday night's New Hanover County Schools presentation also included yearly $1,000 bonuses and a new pay scale. And Independence Day is less than 2 weeks away. The town of Surf City has now announced its big plans to celebrate the holiday. It's happening on July 3rd at Southside Park on Roland Avenue. Park grounds open starting at 5, and live music from the Embers featuring Craig Woolard begin at 6. Then at 9, you can watch the fireworks display. Due to the size of the event, there will be no parking within Soundside Park. Parking will be free after 6 p.m. throughout the town. No alcohol of any kind will be allowed at the celebration. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. It's going to be another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it was on our Wednesday. Highs away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the middle 80s. And a weak cold front will push in from the north, bringing us a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. Not expecting anything in the way of severe weather, but conditions tonight drop down to the upper 60s and the lower 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
I'm K.O. Davis from K.O.'s Coast to Coast Tree, and I want to be your tree man.
When your trees need cut, 2 letters to know. One is a K, the other is an O. K.O.
Tree man. Proper trimming is the most important thing that you can do, so don't just hire anybody to do it. You need someone that knows what they're doing.
K.O.
Call the professionals at K.O.'s Coast to Coast Tree and visit KOTrees.com.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell.
O'Leary's Automotive Repair has multiple locations in the area in Hampstead, Leland, the Myrtle Grove area, Ogden, and Wrightsboro. O'Leary's Automotive Repair, a trusted, locally owned business since 2006.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Right here on the Big Talker Network. BigTalker.live. Please visit the website. Send us an email with any comments, questions, concerns, compliments, or critiques you may have. We cannot improve without your help, and it's also a good idea to download the app for Android and iOS devices. You'll love it. It's a way of life, I promise. Now it's time to get on with the news. Anybody missing a house? Anybody seen a missing house? Oh, that's the story. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Teesdale are looking for a missing house. The home, which was on a trailer in preparation for being moved, was in the Crooked River area when it went missing. Well, there's a clue. Crooked? Sometime between midnight and 12:30 p.m. on June 14. I mean, that's a half hour. Oh, no. That's a 12 and a half hour window. My bad. The house disappeared and hasn't been seen since. As part of the investigation, police said that an altercation happened between an adult man and the house's owner the day after it was stolen. Matthew Malley, 32, of Cadet, South Nipawin, is charged with theft under $5,000, uttering threats, and assault with a weapon. He will appear in Melfort Provincial Court on July 18. Yeah, so the photograph of the house that was stolen is a house that really... If somebody really needed that house, you should just let them have it. Just, you know what? Here. Absolve me from any and all responsibility from this house. And something just for fun on the side because it's early and I'm angry. I think we should just bury Afghanistan. Everybody on the planet should just walk away. No, we're not. We should not send any help to Afghanistan. Taliban wants to be the be-all, end-all for Afghanis. There you go. Here's your chance to be a government. You know, I bet a lot of those ladies, had they been educated, would be extremely helpful at this time. But since you don't let them read, this is what you get. No, we shouldn't do a damn thing for Afghanistan. In fact, I would even go so far as to laugh. This is what you wanted? There you go. All yours. You want to run the country? That's what it takes to run a country, big boy. You don't get to just wear your fancy little robe and chant and dictate what you want women to do. I mean, you got an infrastructure to deal with, and it's not up to us to save your ass when we tried to help you, and then this is what we get. No, you take care of that. I would much rather, if it was, if I ran the United States, I'd be far more willing to give money to what's going on in the Ukraine than I would to anything that's happening in Afghanistan. We tried to help. Y'all were unappreciative and decided to close down the schools and be the way you are to women. Yeah, no, if you want to support that, sure. Right, at least in Ukraine, they have developed, they have grown beyond what it was that they were before. Taliban, however, wanted to go back to the way they were before, not improve. We tried to help them improve, and they said, nah, we're good. Yeah, you're good now. I don't think even the, Doctors Without Borders should be allowed in there. No, nobody goes into Afghanistan. Nobody goes into North Korea. That's your problem. You're the government for your country. You figure it out. We already tried to help. I mean, how much money and blood and people and equipment have we sent to Afghanistan? You still can't figure it out? Too damn bad. If you really want help from the international community, become part of the international community. Ditch this Taliban BS. Dump your religious crap. And start being decent human beings to one another. And if you can't figure out how to do that, stop coming here. Friends will snitch. Here's a story coming out of Florida, USA Today. Asha Gilbert. Friends will snitch. Florida officials search for teens who broke into $8 million mansion to throw a party. I think I've seen this movie before. Florida officials are searching for teens who broke into an $8 million mansion to throw a party and host a boxing match. The Walton County Sheriff's Office were called early Saturday morning for a noise complaint at a home, the office said on Facebook. When deputies arrived, most of the people who attended the party in Santa Rosa Beach had left, but videos of the gathering began to circulate on Instagram, Snapchat, and other social media platforms. There were an estimated 150 to 200 teens at the party. Walton County Sheriff's Public Information Officer Corey Dobrynya. That sounds Russian, told USA Today. Anyway. Some of the videos showed a boxing match happening in foyer of the multi-million-dollar home. I think they left out the definite article, the. Here's another sliver of information. Snapchat isn't private. You may think it is. If you're a teenager or someone in their early 20s and you are not yet worldly, your friends will snitch. Word gets out, the sheriff's post said. Dobrynya said they have identified some teens in the videos, but no one has been charged yet. Most of them are under the age of 21, and even if they didn't think that the house was burglarized, they knew they shouldn't have been there. Panama City station WJHG reports the house is currently for sale on Zillow with an asking price of $7.95 million. The owners were out of town at the time of the party and plan to press charges, the station reports. Before anyone says this is just kids being kids, we want you to ask yourself how you would feel if your home was ransacked and your sense of peace and security was taken from you. The sheriff's office is asking for those who attended the party or know who circulated the flyer to come forward to hold these people responsible. Probably not. It was the Afghanis. because they're running out of hospital space and they're blaming the rest of the world and expect us to save their butt after being so difficult to work with. Long Island, New York, Lacey Yang, ABC 7 New York, father and daughter wanted in Girl Scout cookie scam targeting Long Island residents. Look at this, man. I mean, not even the Girl Scouts are immune. And your dad, the father took the daughter into a Patchogue, Long Island. Police on Long Island are investigating a cookie hustle involving a father-daughter duo who police believe went door-to-door asking for money on the spot and promising to deliver on Girl Scout cookie orders. The problem is, Suffolk County police say the pair took the money in advance but never delivered. Kevin Zasowski lives in Patchogue. He says back in April, a friendly girl about 5 or 6 years old approached him at home asking if he'd like to buy some Girl Scout cookies. As a former Boy Scout, Zasowski was more than happy to contribute. He gave the girl $20 and ordered 4 boxes, while a man who said he was the girl's father stayed on the street smoking. Police now believe the father-daughter team were running a cookie scam that stretched from Lake Ronkonkoma, Bohemia, Patchogue, Shirley to Mastic. The Girl Scouts of Suffolk County is now urging all victims to file a police report. They're also promising to honor all bogus orders since the homeowners are only trying to support a good cause and should have their favorite cookie. That breaks my heart, Michael Lewis says. Lewis's 9-year-old daughter is in the Girl Scouts and has accompanied her on door-to-door cookie sales. Lewis's 9-year-old daughter is in the Girl Scouts and has accompanied her. The father has accompanied the daughter on door-to-door cookie sales, but Scouts are supposed to be in uniform when selling, and they never take cash up front. He says his daughter was crushed to know someone would try to exploit the beloved Girl Scouts. You could see the disappointment in her face. It was almost as if she had been taken advantage of, Lewis said. Whether or not the young girl knew she was cheating donors is unclear. It's not the money, it's not the cookies. It's what this gentleman is teaching his daughter, a life of crime. The real victim is that little girl. Victims are hoping the father is caught soon and his child given proper care. Yeah, proper care, like you're not getting in Afghanistan right now because of how that government behaves. Horrible human beings, horrible people built on a horrible belief system. Yeah, let's hope you get hit with another earthquake. Just bury that entire country. We will start over later. But hey, as long as you're going to be horrible to your constituents and your residents, then why are you even bothering to dig them out? All you're going to do is abuse them anyway, right? So why are you bothering to save them? Coming out of the Independent, Meredith Clark, woman ruins neighbor's wedding day by mowing the lawn as bride walks down the aisle. Some people are so miserable, wrote the wedding guest who posted video of the moment on TikTok. Couple's backyard wedding day was ruined when their neighbor began mowing her lawn as the bride walked down the aisle. Just close that, I don't want to see it. A viral video captured the neighbor's disruption, which has since sparked outrage online. Oh, no, yeah, I don't do the registration crap. So you can just bite me there. If you're not going to let me read it, I'll just not go to you again. Let's see. Where were we? Okay, fine. I hate this. Which has sparked outrage in a video posted to TikTok 11 June. Vampiric. The bride's walk down the aisle was met with the loud sound of a lawnmower coming from her neighbor across the street. A wedding guest filmed the moment the angry neighbor began mowing her lawn, where it has since gained more than 230,000 views. The second the bride's song came on and she walked down the aisle, this Karen decided to purposely mow her lawn and yell at us to ruin the wedding. She continued through the entire wedding and we could not hear the vows, etc. The wedding guest clarified in the comment section that they asked the neighbor to stop mowing her lawn during the ceremony, but she was not kind and not a friendly person at all. Some people are just so miserable, is the caption on the TikTok video. TikTok users were outraged that the woman was purposefully trying to ruin the wedding and took to the comments section to share their disdain for the angry neighbor. The amount of rage I have right now, one person said. Now, I'd be committed to randomly ringing her doorbell at 3 a.m. at least once a week for eternity, another user jokingly wrote. Hope you had a huge celebration and blasted the tunes to the wee hours. Congrats, beautiful bride. One person questioned whether the couple had ongoing beef with the neighbor, which caused her to interrupt the ceremony. But the TikTok user confirmed that there was no bad blood prior to the wedding, while the majority of comments criticized the woman for her less than neighborly behavior. Others were sympathetic to her point of view. Why? That's something you have to accept. When you don't pay for a venue, it's her property. She didn't agree to a wedding. Makes you wonder how they handle a Taliban wedding. Yeah, they don't interrupt it with a lawnmower. They interrupt it with a suicide bomber who is here for the free food. And it blow everybody up. KION News Channel. I have no idea where this is yet. Ricardo Tovar. I'm waiting to hear Michoacan, Mexico. This is the Mexican story, or the Mexico story. All right. So apparently there was some crime happening in Mexico. Surprise, surprise. And when the police came along to scoop up the bodies and, hose down the street, business as usual. A monkey in a bulletproof vest was found among the dead after shootout with Mexican police. Yeah, I can't make this up. Michoacan. Anyway, a monkey wearing a bulletproof vest was found along with dead Take two. A monkey wearing a bulletproof vest was found along with 10 dead people after a bloody shootout between police, soldiers, and gunmen in central Mexico back on June 14. The spider monkey found was wearing a camouflage fleece jacket and a diaper, but officials were unsure if it died from gunfire. Officials confirmed that 10 were killed and 4 injured in the shootout. Photos from the shootout scene showed the monkey on top of a dead gunman's body, apparently his owner. It was speculated that the owner of the monkey was a member of the La Familia Michoacana. Whatever. The criminal group, the Mexico Daily Post, reported authorities in the state of Mexico confirmed the validity of the photos. A primate, I find that funny. A primate was killed at the scene, which was presumably owned by a criminal who was also killed at the scene, state prosecutors said in a statement given to the Associated Press, adding, an autopsy will be carried... No, a necropsy will be carried out on the animal. An autopsy is only for humans. A necropsy will be carried out on the animal by a veterinarian specialized in the species. Animal trafficking charges will be considered against the suspect who survived the shootout. Prosecutors in the state of Mexico said 3 detectives were also injured in the gun battles. Their injuries were said to be non-life-threatening. The shootout happened about 80 miles southwest of Mexico City in Tlaxcala. Prosecutors said detectives seized 20 rifles, pistols, military-style uniforms, bulletproof vests at the scene. The area has seen frequent killings and extortion by drug gangs. So, if you got a monkey on your back, make sure it's well protected. Ha! Afghanistan earthquake. Not crying over here. And I know a lot of those people are innocent, but they're not. I mean, these are the people who have, this is the Taliban. This is horrible, horrible, horrible human beings running their own country, and they should be allowed to, just like that horrible, horrible, horrible human being in North Korea. Right? That's your country. That's your responsibility. Everybody else, save your money, save your time, save your headache. Stay the hell away from these people. There's no independence over there. There's no freedom, right? There's no tenets to which we adhere, that we would want to support. These are some horrible human beings, and if they want support, they want help, well, they're going to need to revisit how they run a country in the first place, right? I don't know, that's just me, but I really, really do not appreciate that type of crap. Your problem, your country. If you weren't so difficult and such horrible human beings, we might be more interested in helping you. But why would we want to preserve the lives of horrible human beings? This is kind of like why I don't understand why we don't let prison riots run their, get all the civilians, get all the officers out of there, and throw in a bunch more sticks. Let them have it. Right? Why bother? If they want to kill each other, have at it. Get out of the way. It's going to save us money. Right, and it's sort of like the situation resolving itself as far as prison overpopulation. Right, there are times you should let the solution present itself. Afghanistan getting buried under an earthquake, not a bad start in my opinion. And with that in mind, we'll let y'all start typing all the hate mail so that I have something to respond to when I come back from the news break. So don't go nowhere. It's a big, the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Be right back after the holidays. Goodbye.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County residents are expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library Tuesday evening, including community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys. The event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts, and was intended for children ages 7 and under. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. One parent who attended with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them. The Cape Fear Proud Boys released a statement saying in part, quote, "Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating 2 consenting adults to introducing sexuality to small children. As concerned citizens, we will continue to utilize our First Amendment rights to ensure public events for children are age appropriate." Also in New Hanover County, the school approved its annual budget, which included a raise for much of the staff. The minimum wage will get a bump up for all classified staff, meaning non-teaching staff assigned to positions that don't require any certifications. Starting this year, entry-level pay for those positions will be just over $15 per hour. Tuesday night's New Hanover County Schools presentation also included yearly $1,000 bonuses and a new pay scale. And Independence Day is less than 2 weeks away. The town of Surf City has now announced its big plans to celebrate the holiday. It's happening on July 3rd at Southside Park on Roland Avenue. Park grounds open starting at 5, and live music from the Embers featuring Craig Woolard begin at 6. Then at 9, you can watch the fireworks display. Due to the size of the event, there will be no parking within Southside Park. Parking will be free after 6 p.m. throughout the town. No alcohol of any kind will be allowed at the celebration. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. It's going to be another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it was on our Wednesday. Highs away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the middle 80s. And a weak cold front will push in from the north, bringing us a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. Not expecting anything in the way of severe weather, but conditions tonight drop down to the upper 60s and the lower 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by 2 Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to 2menandatruck.com. 2menandatruck.com.
We need judges who serve we the people, not self-interested career politicians. This is Jenny Statting, wife of Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Michael is a former prosecutor, sitting Republican judge, and a reservist in the United States Air Force. Michael is a lifelong public servant. That is why I'm asking you to remember to vote for Judge Michael Statting, your conservative candidate for North Carolina Court of Appeals. Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Statting. Michael Statting is a reservist for the United States Air Force. Use of job title does not imply endorsement by the Department of Air Force or the Department of Defense.
Hey everyone, Ben Hawkins here with Cross Country Mortgage. Rates are still at historic lows, and there has never been a better time to purchase your dream home or refinance your existing. With over 300 loan products including conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, and jumbo, we are certain we have the right loan product for you and your family. Call me today to be pre-qualified to make the offer on your next dream home. 910-352-3373 or visit my website at lendwithben.com.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to the program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Hey, welcome back to the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Right here on the Big Talker Network, BigTalker.live. We have a schedule of content, the Listen Live tab, the app for the Android and iOS devices. Man, it's really cool stuff. Get your hands on it, get your hands on some, get you some, that's right. That way, even if you don't like the show, whatever, you can fast forward through it, you can download your favorite, you can play back any of the programs that have been here, including Consumer Choice Radio, All Things Brunswick, Guns, Politics, Freedom with Paul Vallone. And we just have an endless, and it's continuing to grow. We should be bringing more shows on, even as we continue. Ha! So enough of that. Still not. When I saw the news this morning about that Afghanistan thing, I was like, you know what? That's like after punching somebody and you break a finger, that you now want them to take you to the hospital after punching them. No. You took over your country in such an angry and hostile and violent fashion. It's all yours, man. Anything that happens inside those borders are your responsibility, period. You've already gone against the wishes of the rest of the planet. It's all yours from here. Jeez. Okay, let's have some fun. And I blame this on the politicians right here in America. And if you don't believe me, let's just have some fun with this one. Danielle Wallace from Fox 32 Chicago. Number of Americans who believe in God drops to historic low. According to a poll, the percentage of Americans who say they believe in God has dipped to the lowest number in the past nearly 80 years, according to a new Gallup poll published Friday. Well, look, man, I mean, if your evangelical Christian belief system is being led by a fat guy who lies a lot and has, had extramarital affairs and 5 children by 3 women, then yeah, our values and beliefs poll is going to be skewed. Conducted from May 2nd to 22nd showed 81% of people answered that they believe in God. That is down 6% percentage points from 87 of respondents who said they believe in God in 2017 poll. This year is the lowest percentage in Gallup's trend since the public opinion polling company first asked the question in 1994. This year's poll found 17% of Americans said they do not believe in God. I am going to continue my crusade until that number reaches 98%. Because I don't think that people are trying to believe in God. They're trying to believe in some sense of morality since they don't want to deliver or develop one for themselves. So they have to subscribe to another belief system because they're just, and they're ignorant, right? If you talk to, oh man, Carl Sagan and a number of these smart guys, including Neil deGrasse Tyson, their argument is that God exists where our ignorance begins. Right? We used to think rainbows were God. No, rainbows are water and light refracting. 42 degrees, sun must be behind you, etc., etc. So yeah, let's keep going until that number goes well up into the 90s. When asking the question first in 1944, again in 47, and twice each in the 50s and 60s, a consistent 98% of respondents said they believed in God. When Gallup asked the question nearly 5 decades later in 2011, 92% of Americans said they believe in God. See, we're going in the right direction. A subsequent survey in 2013 found believe in God dipping below 90% to 87, roughly where it stood in 3 subsequent updates between 2014 and 17 before this year's drop to 81. Come on, we can get that much lower. We can get that down to like 2 or less. The poll found that the belief in God or otherwise taxed the churches. Right? Enough of this organization crap, right? NFL finally took the heat and realized they cannot be a nonprofit organization. Same with the church. I mean, just the hardware inside a single church is more than what the entire neighborhood the church serves has as disposable income for everybody. Yeah, I'm not a fan of churches. I think it's just it's a cop-out. The poll found that belief in God has plummeted the most in recent years among young adults and people on the left of the political spectrum, namely liberals and Democrats. Oh my God. No, what it is that we have discovered that spirituality does not involve clearing out and gunning down, gassing out a bunch of people to take a picture with a Bible in front of a church. That does not make you a Christian or believe in God or any of that. What that is the same thing as putting like the Christian symbol on your business card, trying to make yourself appear what you are not. Right? If anybody wants to be Christ-like, which is what Christianity is like, then you should stop with the blustering. Gallup said those groups showed drops of 10 or more percentage points comparing to the 2022 figures to an average of the 2013-17 polls. Most other key groups have experienced at least a modest decline, although conservatives and married adults have essentially no change, according to the polling company. Well, of course not. If I can claim to be a Christian and get all kinds of grifting money, bring it. Yeah, I believe in God and I need money so I can go to heaven. I need me a new jet so I can minister across the world. I mean, it is the longest running grift game. And Trump just put his gold name on top of it. Yeah, I'm gold God. There's God over there with the churches and stuff, but I'm the gold God. I am the fat golden calf. The poll found the groups with the largest declines are also the groups that are currently least likely to believe in God, including liberals, young adults, and Democrats. Oh, this is not twisted. Belief in God is highest among the political conservatives and Republicans. Of course, it's a claim. It's not like they're Christ-like. You don't see them serving lepers, do you? I think what you fail to understand is that the Democrats, young adults, and liberals are more likely to read, are more likely to be educated, and more likely to realize that this is a grifting fallacy. It's a made-up story because we cannot take care of our damn selves, so we have to turn our morality into something else. Oh my God, I don't understand the rainbow. I can't wrap my head around refraction, so it's God. I mean, I think it's really funny when they like burn, when an entire church burns down during a storm and only the cross is left and they're like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Really? The rest of the building is gone. Everything is torched and burned to the ground. The only thing left standing is a couple of sticks. Pull your head out. Start realizing that the earth goes around without you. I mean, if you want to live in a religiously run country, why not just go to Afghanistan? They're having a great time right now, and they could probably use your help. The biggest thing I've noticed is that people who try to, ram religion down my throat have never read a book. Oh, no, I read the one book. No. What you read was one collection of thousands of years of propaganda. Man says U-Haul with belongings and his mother's ashes stolen from a hotel parking lot. Malik Jackson was writing this, WGN9 out of Chicago. Kansas City, Kansas, get the hell off of me. One man's cross-country trip turned disastrous after a U-Haul truck filled with his belongings, including his mother's ashes, was stolen. Now the Kansas City Police Department needs your help. This all happened shortly after 3 a.m. Saturday morning at the Best Western across from Children's Mercy Park and Kansas Speedway. The hotel said police have obtained video of the theft of Jared D'Amato's U-Haul, but police wouldn't confirm with Nexstar's WDAF that it has the video, but all D'Amato wants is his mother's and grandmother's ashes returned. D'Amato's 20-foot U-Haul looked just like the rest, with an Arizona license plate and a New York sticker on the side. It's just like when you're watching the news and you see a tornado or hurricane wipe away somebody's house and they lose all their possessions and belongings. It just feels like that. Apparently, he lost his mom just over a year ago and is in the process of moving back to Colorado from Florida. At least he has a sense to get out of Florida. This was our third night stay. We checked in when he stopped at the Best Western in Kansas City. Everything went wrong. First thing in the morning, me and my friend Clay were out on the back and we just looked at each other and we noticed the U-Haul was missing. A stunning realization that everything he owned was gone. Above all, the remains of both his mom and grandmother. He offered a message to the person who did this. You can take anything, my tools, anything of value, but please, for the love of God, can you please leave my mother's ashes, my grandmother's ashes, my photos? It's all I have left over. Police said they're investigating. I just never thought this would happen to me. It's the worst thing imaginable, D'Amato said. His sister drove in from Colorado Saturday evening and picked him up. If you know anything that can help D'Amato find the 20-foot U-Haul with the Arizona plates and a mammoth sticker on the side with the words New York, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. I mean, that's some lowness right there, ladies and gentlemen. Man. Now, Florida is always with, oh my God, no. Oh wow, Fox 32 Chicago writing about a Florida guy. I love America. What's that on his head? Okay, I wish you could see this. Nobody even wants to put their name on it. Florida. That's not a name. That's not a woman's name. That's a state. Florida man in cow pajamas. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. I can't. I just don't have the brain power. Florida man in cow pajamas among 6 arrested on drug charges. And it looks, I mean, this could be Joe Exotic's brother, boyfriend, I don't know. And he has tattoos on his face that looks like, well, one of them looks like the anarchy symbol on his cheek, but it's been vandalized by Banksy, it looks like. And then what looks like a molecule representation tattooed over his right eye in his forehead. And it looks like he shaves himself bald, but tattooed his head like a hairnet. Now that we know what this guy looks like, I mean, that's a little creepy. Yeah, okay, so on with the story. Okeechobee, Florida. Oh, they're going to have fun with this. A Florida man is trading his utterly impressive cow print jammies for a jailhouse jumpsuit after being arrested on drug and ammunition. Oh, it is a full body. Oh, this is so precious. He has a cute little dog collar on. It's bright orange dog collar with a little silver heart charm. The cow print onesie, right? It's a full body deal. Cow print with pink buttons and pink cuffs and a pink collar. Bright pink, like the type of pink that clashes really bad with orange, so bad that I know not to do that. According to Okeechobee, I don't know if I got that, County Sheriff's Office, Richard Anthony Bennell was one of 6 people taken into custody when deputies executed A narcotic search warrant at an Okeechobee home on Friday. Deputies say Bunnell, who was dressed to impress in a black and white pajama set with pink trim and a pink hat, appeared confused when they arrested him for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of ammunition by a convicted felon. 5 other people at the home were also arrested on drug-related charges. And they rolled up in the biggest looking, military vehicle with a turret. In a post on the Okeechobee, I'm not going to get that right ever. The agency recommended that anyone wanting to deal drugs in the county may want to consider moving. Isn't that cute? That's the sheriff's office. They made it funny. And that's it for the story. You may want to consider moving. But yeah, that's who we are, ladies and gentlemen. And for real, I think God would probably not want anything to do with us if he existed. All it is a grift for people that have no marketable skill and no interest in developing one, learning how to work, or no work ethic. Right? I mean, just look at the incident rate of any of these religious arrangements and the incident of sexual impropriety, as well as financial impropriety, right? Because they're asking you for money for what? For what? I mean, what? They're going to guarantee you a condo on the north side of heaven with the best view? Right? I mean, do you get free tickets to the angelic harp concert? I mean, what are they selling you? They're not. If you want to give your money to, in a way that's going to do some good, well, certainly don't give it to Afghanistan. That's the same as giving it to the Catholic Church, who owns more gold than everybody else combined. Right? So if you want to just continue making rich people richer and find some way to grift by power, this is the same thing that all of the religious leaders throughout history, right, from Ithaca to Oaxaca or whatever, all of these weird empires that used religion to control the masses. If you don't do this, the gods will be angry, whether it's 1 or 50, right? And it's up to you to keep them all straight. None of it is real. We made it all up, just like we made up money, just like we made up religion. We made all of this up primarily as a way of controlling other people on the planet to do our bidding. It's a way of maintaining power. So yeah, being spiritual, having spiritual connections, and being spiritually aware is radically different than being religiously brainwashed. Right? Because if anybody on this planet thinks that, has anybody seen Donald J. Trump in a church, but he's going to claim that he's the, man, that's grifting. That's open, overt grifting right there. Oh, we just did a story about Mexico recently, right? This morning. Well, now we have an, bulletproof monkey to... Here's what it was. The $60,000 worth of meth found hidden inside the child booster seats, written by Daniel Miller, coming from Fox 29, Philadelphia. Murrieta, California. So I guess this is really weird. Going all over the country. A startling discovery was made by Border Patrol agents when they found $60,000 worth of methamphetamine stashed inside child booster seats. Border agents stopped a vehicle with 2 adults and their children inside near the Newton Azraq Border Patrol Station checkpoint in Murrieta, California on June 15. A K-9 officer sniffed out the meth in the children's 3 booster seats, according to a release from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Several meth packages were found in the booster seats, and authorities said the driver of the vehicle was in possession of over 26 pounds of meth with a value of $60,000. That's a lot of batteries and a lot of, congestion medication. What are they? Claritin. There we go. Our agents continue to work around the clock to protect our community, said Aaron Hitkey, Chief Patrol Agent at San Diego Sector. Drug smugglers will use any means necessary to get their poison out onto our streets. Nothing is sacred to them, not even family. Well, this is very, very true for our politicians. I mean, look at Madison Cawthorn. It was more important for him to be important than it was to get crime off the streets or, to not be a jerk. And anyway, the driver, identified as a U.S. citizen, was arrested by agents, and the mother of the children. The mother and children were released. Boy, y'all got snowed on that one. The child needed to be placed into foster care and both parents arrested. Last month, the Border Patrol agent seized $18 million worth of methamphetamine being smuggled into Laredo, Texas, from Mexico in a semi-trailer truck. But man, if you can get 60 grand worth of meth inside a child booster seat, I mean, hey, why not? Go to church, bruh. Why not? I don't even want to do that. Not even. Okay, so let's see what... Oh, hey. Well, that's sad. Okay, dance fail. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this one's gonna get you twice. TMZ. Viral Burger King employee hoping for more than goodie bag and cake, still grateful for gifts and fundraiser. The Burger King employee celebrating 27 years on the job says he felt let down by a mediocre goodie bag from his company, and yet he's still expressing incredible gratitude. You might want to grab some tissues. We spoke to 50-year-old Kevin Ford, who works as a cook and cashier at the BK in the Las Vegas airport, about how his employer chose to mark his anniversary. While the video of him showing off the bag contents went viral, Kevin doesn't want anyone thinking he's ungrateful. He just found the reward a little lackluster. I mean, after 27 years of flipping burgers, Burger King made a hell of a lot more money than he did, and they gave him a slice. Not even a cake, just a slice. He tells us HMS host, the company from which Burger King hires, sent him what felt like stuff they had lying around the office. Kevin's been around long enough to know that pre-COVID employees would get checks for their anniversaries with the company. That being said, told us he's just thankful to have a job in these difficult times and doesn't want to throw shade at his company. The good news is that with more than a quarter century on his belt, somebody did step up to show appreciation. His daughter. He got emotional while telling us about his daughter's GoFundMe fundraiser for him to visit his grandkids in Texas. And it's already past the $3,000 mark. Kevin says he'll use it to take a day off and possibly get a new car. American and hybrid. Smart, I guess. Spokesman for Burger King tells TMZ the Burger King brand and its many franchisees nationwide are committed to recognizing and celebrating the achievements of the thousands of people serving across a wide range of roles, all dedicated to providing our guests a world-class experience. They continue following a review with this location franchisees. We learned that this video depicts a team member in receipt of a peer-to-peer reward in recognition of a short-term positive performance experience. The franchisees offers its team members a robust employee recognition program, which includes the recognition of tenure milestones and monetary rewards. Which means Burger King proper is a pile of crap. Reached out to HMS host for comments. So far, you're not getting nothing back. They don't care. In fact, COVID was their excuse. No more rewards, no more bonuses. Man, it's hard to get to these articles because they don't write them in English. It's very, very difficult. I really don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, yeah, we should just jump a little early and I'll see if I can't find something because my friend Chad Adams, who was supposed to join me every day this week, is MIA at the moment. I'm hoping he's all right. I'm still suffering gig hangover from the Voice in the Pen last night. It was a hip-hop night, which for me was something of a vacation. It was kind of nice. I was able to, do another... it was more of a vacation for me. It was nice. Somebody else took care of all the sound, and all I did was run the video side of things and taught my cohorts how to do more of the video thing so I could sit outside and breathe in and out. It was really loud. Louder than one of my normal shows, but, when there's 12 people in the room, I try to run a little bit softer than that, but was not my responsibility this time, and I am grateful for it. Wow. That was disappointing. So, with that in mind, we are going to take... Why not? Boom Chakalaka. There it is. All right. You know what that means. We'll be right back. Right after these messages on the Big Talker. And then you'll be dumped right back into the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone mad. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Keeping Ocean Isle informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Folks, the sad truth of it is most of what we're seeing in the news cycle is just noise, and it's recycled noise at that. Nothing informative, nothing that actually helps us discern the times that we live in. That's why we started doing Heard Tell. Every morning right here on Big Talker Network, 7 a.m. with a replay at 3 p.m., we talk and discuss the issues of the day, culture and politics with knowledgeable guests, no yelling, no caterwauling, just grown folk talk about the issues that matter. Join me, Andrew Donaldson, every weekday morning for Heard Tell.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County residents are expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library Tuesday evening, including community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys. The event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts, and was intended for children ages 7 and under. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. One parent who attended with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them. The Cape Fear Proud Boys released a statement saying in part, quote, "Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating 2 consenting adults to introducing sexuality to small children. As concerned citizens, we will continue to utilize our First Amendment rights to ensure public events for children are age appropriate." Also in New Hanover County, the school approved its annual budget, which included a raise for much of the staff. The minimum wage will get a bump up for all classified staff, meaning non-teaching staff assigned to positions that don't require any certifications. Starting this year, entry-level pay for those positions will be just over $15 per hour. Tuesday night's New Hanover County Schools presentation also included yearly $1,000 bonuses and a new pay scale. And Independence Day is less than 2 weeks away. The town of Surf City has now announced its big plans to celebrate the holiday. It's happening on July 3rd at Southside Park on Roland Avenue. Park grounds open starting at 5, and live music from the Embers featuring Craig Woolard begin at 6. Then at 9, you can watch the fireworks display. Due to the size of the event, there will be no parking within Southside Park. Parking will be free after 6 p.m. throughout the town. No alcohol of any kind will be allowed at the celebration. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. It's going to be another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it was on our Wednesday. Highs away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the middle 80s. And a weak cold front will push in from the north, bringing us a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. Not expecting anything in the way of severe weather, but conditions tonight drop down to the upper 60s and the lower 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
Lee Nails, located at 4956 Long Beach Road, Southport, is the place to pamper yourself. Steve and his staff of 5 are trained to do everything. They offer manicures of every kind. Pedicures include the deluxe, the special, the royal, the calming mud mask, and therapeutic wax dip. Other services include skin treatments and waxing. Lee Nails, open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 7, and Sunday, 11 to 5. Appointments and walk-ins welcome. Oh, but wait, they are having a special. Hurry in before June 16th to get 20% off. Lee Nails, 910-457-0837.
Listen to Tom Goolsby on The Chad Adams Show.
People with common sense know that the entire theory of socialism is one big lie.
The Big Talker 106.7 FM.
That's right, we're back. Catch me if you can. Oh yeah, that was the coffee right there starting to kick in, and I needed that, so y'all can just be patient for a minute. All 1 of you having fun. I get it. I get it. I get it. I really do. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I like that track. That's pretty happening. There's an article recently on Ordinary-Times. And I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to chirp it to you, because I honestly believe that this person has their stuff together. Miss Burnett, L.D. Burnett, Art in a Time of Burning. This one might take a minute. I need to go back here. I stopped the music too soon, didn't I? Yeah, I guess so. All right. Diving in, L.D. Burnett wrote this back in June 15. If the Restoration Dramatists were on Twitter today, their subtweet game would turn the entire platform into a smoking ruin. Compared to these literary rivals and sometimes political foes, we are all rank amateurs. They wrote quickly, they wrote smartly, they wrote for politically powerful patrons as well as for an unpredictable and increasingly fearsome public. And they made hay and made bank out of their personal rivalries, grievances, and squabbles with one another. This vanished world is newly alive to me as I read John Dryden and His World, James Anderson Wynn's an elegant but serviceable biography of the great dramatist and critic. Indeed, Through his prefaces and epilogues to his plays as performed and later as published, as well as through essays dedicated to various aspects of writing poetry, drama, prose, and translation, Dryden almost single-handedly invented criticism, both literary criticism and cultural criticism, as both a genre and a paying job. Dryden's works, his poetry, his plays, and his reflections on them made the case and argued the case for the writers as cultural critic, responsibly and deftly wielding his pen to tell his age the truth about itself. Using the epic past and his own poetic imagination to illuminate present realities was Dryden's special gift, Wynne writes. It sets him apart not only from the smoothly tinted Whaler and the pungently specific marvel of the painter poems, but from the greatest poet of his century as well, that is unquestionably Milton. Apparently 177 of them. While Milton made glancing references to recent inventions and current events here and there in Paradise Lost, Milton's choice of an epic mode deliberately limits such direct commentary on his own times. Dryden, by contrast, preferred a heroic to an epic mode of poetry. In Annus Mirabilis, there it is, Dryden's stirring poem about the disastrous year of the plague, war, and fire, he teaches us how to see the events of 1666 as both epic and historical. His poem is both effective propaganda for the court and a moving vision of human suffering and triumph. Throughout his career, Dryden straddled the shifting line between poet and pamphleteer, between aesthete and activist. Writing in conversation with his moment rather than in an attempt to escape it, invigorating Dryden's work, as did writing in conflict with other playwrights and poets whose different political commitments showed up in and showed through their own aesthetic choices. The London theatre world, Wynne notes, was a nest of tangled rivalries and intrigues in which theatrical, sexual, and courtly politics often intertwined. It was a subculture that mimetically magnified the proclivities and conflicts of the wider culture of Restoration England. At times, the various factions of the theater world, factions defined along lines of class, lines of patronage, aesthetic approaches, amorous alliances, political views, they all clashed in robust, explicit conflicts. There were duels and dueling prologues, spectacular productions and vicious lampoons of rival poets, rival houses, rival court parties. Playwrights and poets developed rivalries that were personal or aesthetic or political or all of the above. Andrew Marvell and John Dryden, who had both worked under John Milton as Latin translators for the Protectorate, despised one another in person and on paper. Thomas Shadwell skewered John Dryden, and Dryden skewered Shadwell in return, usually without naming names. In fact, to understand many of the references and catch many of the in-jokes woven throughout the writing of the Restoration wits, one needs a metadramatis personae, some sort of scorecard or roster that names those names the writers left unmentioned but knew would be instantly recognized at the time. This is what I meant when I said above that the Restoration dramatists' subtweet game would emulate Twitter. They were ridiculously skilled at skewering the rivals without addressing them directly. I'm getting questioned. Sorry. Recognize, though, that this skill was not just an idle hobby or the precipitate of an ornery age, to say things without saying them, to bring a pointed critique without explicitly naming the target. These were just not the aesthetic commonplaces for an age of satire, irony, and wit, but the crucial survival skills for artists in an era of very real political and mortal peril. In 1680, with Parliament still prorogued. Wynn tells us the political struggle over succession was being acted out in such arenas as the theater and the courtroom. Recall that from the 1630s to the 1680s, the political struggle over succession in England was a life of or death battle. Many people, from King Charles I down to minor clerics, literally lost their heads over that question. To write present politics into the historical dramas and comedies of manners playing in the theaters was to play with fire, but to write plays that piqued no one's interest because they had nothing to offer audiences was to court failure. In that impossible situation, the ferocious she got a vocabulary vituperation. I need to look that up. Thank you. Oh. It's not a touchscreen T. Vituperation, bitter and abusive language. In that impossible situation, the ferocious, violent language cloaked beneath mannered prose that literary rivals heaped upon each other was a way of honing the skill of cloaked critique and keeping it sharp for its most risky applications. The flame wars of the 17th century were good practice for saying what needed saying while keeping oneself out of the flames for heresy or off the chopping block for treason. Right? That's what our freedom of speech is supposed to be, but we still need to cloak it. It's a fascinating cultural moment and perhaps an instructive one for us today. Like the English dramatists of the 17th century, we live in a time of great political turmoil when the usual systems for legitimating power, I got that right, royal succession in their case, free and fair democratic elections in our case, are themselves facing crises of legitimacy. The threat of both extrajudicial and civil violence lurks beneath and behind our increasingly polarized political landscape, just as it did then. And then, as now, arenas of culture, theater, poetry, music, the visual arts are sites of conflict in a rolling contest for power. It is tempting to view culture wars as a bloodless proxy for real political conflict or real contests of power. It is tempting to view aesthetic matters and aesthetic controversies, say arguments over the genre of superhero movies or the genre-bending practices of sampling, remix, and memification, as frivolous or irrelevant struggles in a world filled with more immediate existential dangers and threats of impending political violence. We should resist the temptation to underestimate or devalue the role of the arts and artists in collectively hashing out what matters to us as a society, as a culture, as a dismally self-destructive species, particularly in times when direct confrontation between different factions and power groups could lead to an explosion of physical violence. As the threat of civil unrest or political violence grows, the arena of culture will become more, not less, important as a site for challenge and resistance. The more dangerous the times, the better an artist must become at oblique critique, and the sharper audiences must become at reading between the lines and behind the lines. And when artists choose to take a public stand, as Dryden did in making explicit his loyalty to James II as the rightful heir to the English throne, they should recognize that such a stand might cost them their career and their livelihood in times past, and not so distant at that. Such commitments have cost artists their lives. May our times be spared and our artists be unsparing. Brutal. Art is meant to make you uncomfortable. Now, a lot of the writing that's going on in the papers, have been written in a slightly different slant than what Miss Burnett is referring to. Today's articles are written to sell cars, candy bars, and carpets. Right? So the rhetoric and the information is going to be extreme to a nature basically as a dog whistle or dog call or whatever it's called to their own crowd, right? Because there are very few Biden people that are going to be spending money on MyPillow crap. But all the conservative Christians with red ties and MAGA this and hat that, right? They're going to be all over it. They're going to sleep on nothing but Crazy Mike's pillows. This is why I think education needs to concentrate more on arts, humanity, and science. People should not be afraid of math. People should not hate math. I mean, that's an incredible disservice to ourselves as a species. Stop it. And as she's pointing out, what we think is, some pretty bum rush writing on Twitter now and again, and I don't even have Twitter because y'all don't even, use the English language, for Christ's sake. Don't even want to play that. But these were people writing in Old English when things were, today we can throw on a parachute. Here's one of my favorite comparisons that I had a discussion with yesterday before the show with a friend of mine. So, when I was a boy, when it was time to go anywhere outside the house, Mom made sure we had clean, fresh underwear because we didn't want raggedy tag underwear. I mean, if we had an accident, what would it be like if they found you in some raggy underwear? I don't think they're going to care. Right? I mean, if I have a compound fracture of my femur, my underwear is not going to be a primary concern to them. They're going to be more interested in saving my leg. Anyway. So even a time before that, like my grandmother's time, when everybody had to wear petticoats, right? The women who have been, not in charge of their own clothing for centuries, right? They wear what the men tell them is appropriate, whether it's a burqa or a hoop dress or 15 petticoats. The dressing that women have had to go through over the centuries is absolutely abhorrent. So during this time, right, now you can go to Walmart and you see people that are they clothed? Right? How about the Florida guy getting arrested in the hot pink cow print pajamas? Hot pink piped or lined or whatever the accent. The rest of it is regular black and white cow print. So, don't freak. It was just the collar and, accented in hot pink. And then a bright orange dog collar with a heart. Would look like one of those silver plastic stamped hearts you get out of a gumball machine. And he looks surprised. Anyway. So we no longer care about our own appearance as a culture, right? Remember getting on the airplane? We had to wear our Sunday best to go flying. The last time I was on an airplane, I had like a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, and socks. And shoes. You have anything to check? Nah, man. I'm just flying down to pick up a car and drive it back. So, And it was funny. They had me take off my shoes, and it's like, are you carrying anything? A pack of cigarettes and a lighter, dude. That's it. That's all I got. That and $20 and my ID. What do you want? Right? Now, this is where education would come in to play if we could teach sense, like common sense. Like, okay, you're going to the airport, Madison Cawthorn. Maybe you shouldn't put the gun in your bag that you're carrying. Right? And if you did it once and did it a second time, obviously education is not working for you. You are not a smart man. You should be relegated to flipping burgers and lying about your car wreck. But if you're going to the airport, you should do your checklist at home. The less that I carry in, on, or around me, the less hassle I will receive getting in, on, and out of the plane. It's remarkable. Do you have anything to declare? Yeah, everything I'm holding. I hold nothing. I have nothing. Right? I have like 4 items: my phone, my wallet bits, my cigarettes, and my lighter. That's it. And the shoes, the socks, the shorts, and the t-shirt. Got nothing to hide. right? But if you show up with 3,000 bags and they're all packed sideways and 2 of them are too big and now you're all frustrated and you're holding everybody up in line because you were too stupid to do your math ahead of time. Right? I mean, how often do you get in the car, drive, and then go, oh, I need gas? I mean, those people to me are some of the most hilarious. They're on the side of the road and, need help with gas. Good luck with that. Right? I mean, it's kind of like this Taliban with the earthquake. If you kick everybody else in the nuts, nobody wants to come to your rescue when things go bad. So, much like you earned it. If that's how you're going to be, this is how people should treat you in response. Right? The golden rule, stay the hell away from me. Until you let your women dress the way they want to dress and can attend school and learn to read, then no, you get all the earthquakes. And the boycott should be stiffened right now, right? You want assistance? No. If you want assistance and you are willing to make a change for it, then maybe. But as of right now, no. I would not be interested in helping you. I am very much interested in helping the Ukraine. Their situation is far different than what happened in Afghanistan. We tried to help Afghanistan. You shot us. Ukraine's trying to break away from one of the most heinous dictatorships ever to exist. Where they need help. We should help them. And this is kind of the type of artistry that Miss Burdett is referring to. We need to be vicious. And it doesn't need to be personal, right? Because we're not attacking the person themselves, but what it is they're doing, what they've done. If it becomes completely characteristically built, right, then you can display just the persona. Right? The photograph of any number of them. It's just, I hate people that are hateful. And Donald Trump is one of the most, he's been hateful since the 70s. Even my boss is asking me about it. And he gives me, why don't you like Trump? I have not liked Trump since the 70s. Right? The first issue for me was the Central Park 5. So, everything from that, I've never supported the man. And I do not support any one person as a deity, for Christ's sake. And the more a person tries to claim themselves or be pedestalized as some sort of pontiff, profligate, no. You are one person. The fact that you crap on a golden toilet tells me everything I need to know about your mental stability. You are out of touch with anything that has to do with planet Earth. And that's what we need more of. That's what we need, people that are in the trenches like Miss Burdett was pointing out. The people who can actually eviscerate the status quo without getting themselves in trouble. Very difficult to do, just letting you know. But that's generally the plan. Right? You let people act out what they're going to do, and then we hold them to account afterwards and decide for ourselves, is this somebody we want representing us? Well, in the case of Madison Cawthorn, enough people had said, you know what? We've had enough with this petulant little brat. And I think we need to be, holding our representatives and political folk at a much higher level. But we don't. Unless, it's selective. In some cases, an improper relationship is enough to end a political career. In another case, it skyrockets them into infamy. We are not a consistent species, right? And I would say that we are an independent species. Hominus americanus is, it's kind of like the different creatures that were on Madagascar and Australia and all these other places that when the plates split, they're still related, right? You're going to have to watch David Attenborough to know which individual animals. But their species actually changes because of their separation from their counterparts on the other place, right? So the birds evolved a little bit differently to their new environment. All the mammals and lizards and different creatures. Galapagos, that's it, right? So there are many animals on the Galapagos that are unique to the Galapagos, even though they are directly related and descended. But their evolution paralleled, right? They went off on their own little tangent because they were now in a new, separate, isolated environment. That is America. We are one of the, you would be hard-pressed to find another country as xenophobic as our own. Not necessarily politically, but all you got to do is bring up the word immigration and watch any given group of people go sideways. They don't realize that the entire country is populated entirely by immigrants, except for the few people that we drove down the Trail of Tears out into Arizona and New Mexico and places where it's absolutely uninhabitable, including New Mexico. Everybody else is an immigrant. Hate to tell you that. So even the immigrants that are coming in, oh my God, it's a crisis. Look, the whole world is in a crisis. The fact that we can't get our crap together and balance it is on us as a species. But our species are subdividing. Hominus americanus is different than Hominus ruski. And until we can homogenize as a planet, as a species, as a global virus, because we are the virus. Any of these other things aside, monkeypox or whatever, we are the true virus. We are the real cancer on this planet. We tend to destroy everything in a certain place, and once we have destroyed that place, we move on and destroy another place. If you don't believe me, there is trash on Mars. There is trash on the moon. We trash everything everywhere we go. Next time you go to a grocery store, take a look in the parking lot and tell me how many masks you see on the ground. And that's just one type of debris. Look for any of the other litters, right? Cigarette wrappers, beer cans. Beer cans are super common because nobody wants to get caught with an open container in their car. And we don't encourage drinking and driving by having drive-through liquor stores, do we? Hey, do you mind opening that for me? Yeah, I don't have a bottle opener. Can you pop that Molson for me before I take off? Yeah, I still don't understand that. But this is how stupid we are as a species. Hominus americanus loves bourbon, but for some reason, those same Hominus americanus has determined that Bourbon County is a dry county. How does that work? Money. So if ever you want to know what's going on or what's going on in the world, just look at the money. Follow the money. Whoever's making money is at the root of this thing. Electric cars, gas cars, big cars, little cars, someone's making money. And I'm willing to bet, when making money, that Afghanistan's earthquake relief request is actually a grift for money for the Taliban, since they have no marketable skill. They have no real, they have nothing to offer the rest of the world, so they don't have any way to make money except by sacrificing their own people. Oh my God, 1,000 people dead, give us money. No, that's your government. You work it out. You figure it out. You didn't want our help when we were here? You deal with it. You wanted the Taliban. There you go. The Taliban is going to be your savior. Divine government right there. If you want to know why I don't believe in God, Taliban. Anything organized by man is already corrupt in its very nature. Being spiritual is a different issue. That's the development of empathy, and that's where I think art and humanities in school needs to be accelerated, needs to be reintroduced, and it needs to be accelerated. So that we can have these conversations and battle the concepts, right? Liking a person or not liking a person is independent of what their ideas would be, to a point. I mean, if it turned out that Marilyn Manson, or not Marilyn, what's that guy's name? Manson, George Manson? No. What's his name? The psycho. Maybe he does have the best brain for global economy, and he could fix all of the world's financial problems, but who's going to listen to him? But he did that to himself, right? Same with somebody in the Taliban. Maybe somebody over there has the best answer for global economy, but if he's over there beating women and subjugating folks, then I don't want to listen to him. If you're going to blame people for a crime they didn't commit just because they're black, I don't want to listen to your policies. Even if it is 40, 50 years later, I don't care. You've already shown me that you're a horrible human being, and I don't want to hear anything out of your mouth. Except 2 words, orderly transition. I'm kidding, that was a joke, ladies and gentlemen. One of you should have laughed. Goodness. There's absolutely no hope for humor in this country. I mean, if I made a gay joke, would that make you happy? Get it? Gay used to mean happy, but we can't use the word gay to mean happy anymore. Don we now our gay apparel? What did you think was going to happen? More of the Asylum right after this.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County residents are expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library Tuesday evening, including community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys. The event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts, and was intended for children ages 7 and under. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. One parent who attended with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them. The Cape Fear Proud Boys released a statement saying, in part, quote, Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating 2 consenting adults to introducing sexuality to small children. As concerned citizens, we will continue to utilize our First Amendment rights to ensure public events for children are age appropriate. Also in New Hanover County, the school approved its annual budget, which included a raise for much of the staff. The minimum wage will get a bump up for all classified staff, meaning non-teaching staff assigned to positions that don't require any certifications. Starting this year, entry-level pay for those positions will be just over $15 per hour. Tuesday night's New Hanover County Schools presentation also included yearly $1,000 bonuses and a new pay scale. And Independence Day is less than 2 weeks away. The town of Surf City has now announced its big plans to celebrate the holiday. It's happening on July 3rd at Southside Park on Roland Avenue. Park grounds open starting at 5, and live music from the Embers featuring Craig Woolard begin at 6. Then at 9, you can watch the fireworks display. Due to the size of the event, there will be no parking within Southside Park. Parking will be free after 6 p.m. throughout the town. No alcohol of any kind will be allowed at the celebration. For more on these stories, you can head over to WWAYTV3.com. I'm Matt Bennett. Have a great day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm WWAY meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with the Storm Track 3 forecast. It's going to be another warm one in the Cape Fear, but not as hot as it was on our Wednesday. Highs away from the coast will climb into the low 90s. Along the immediate coastline, we'll get into the middle 80s. And a weak cold front will push in from the north, bringing us a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. Not expecting anything in the way of severe weather, but conditions tonight drop down to the upper 60s and the lower 70s. Get your full forecast on WWAY and WWAYTV3.com.
This news and weather is brought to you by Two Men and a Truck. For your free quote, go to twomenandatruck.com. twomenandatruck.com.
This show is also sponsored by Dr. Tony Maglione. Dr. Tony is a cardiologist practicing in Wilmington. He accepts Medicare patients, and his office is located across the street from New Hanover Regional Medical Center at 2032 17th Street. The office number is 202-1071. Dr. Tony is an author whose last book is Rules for Conservative Patriots, and it can be purchased on Amazon. His website is www.drtonymag.com.
Teachers and parents, the North Carolina Symphony is here to support you as you carry on the education of your children and students. Take your kids on a free virtual field trip to the Symphony with a virtual education concert and companion student book. Go on a virtual journey to learn what makes music music, with music by William Grant Still, Beethoven, Brahms, and more. Access the free video and student book with password 1932 at ncsymphony.org/virtual.
Enjoying Big Talker Network is as easy as asking for it. Program your digital home assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and Siri to stream Big Talker Network content by simple voice command. Enjoy convenient hands-free access to program whenever you want, however you want by asking for Big Talker.
Look, there was a line at the coffee machine. Keeping up with you guys takes a lot of coffee in the morning. Just want you to know that. So, I had a bunch of thoughts there on the break while I was pouring my coffee, and they've just all evaporated. Yeah, why not? If a government in a country has determined or has demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond any reasonable doubt, has overtly demonstrated that they do not care about their own people, why are they asking for any help at all? You didn't care about them before. Why do you care about them now? I find that kind of mind-boggling. Human life in the Taliban regime is not a commodity. It's an annoyance, it seems, right? They just shoot anybody, kill anybody. Now they're all worried about their people. People that they didn't care about. They were all up in the hills and the bad places anyway, and it's not like your government reached out to them to help them out previously. We have an interesting relationship with what we consider to be important, and I think that's all about the optics, all about how we can pitch it, play on your nerves, play on your guilt, play on your emotions as a direct route to your wallet. How many GoFundMes get run up for people that don't need it? Right? I think that's one of the worst things that ever came up. And I think there should be more rules like one person wants to make a record, but they don't have the talent, the skills, or the marketable skills, or any other way to make money except GoFundMe, so that they can raise the thousands of dollars necessary to live a life of luxury without employment while making a record. That's a slap in the face to all the artists that are working jobs. Like, if you go to Tennessee, you go to Nashville, right? And if any of you, this will blow your mind, especially as a musician. Go down there and have lunch and talk to the busboy, talk to the dishwasher, talk to the cook, talk to one of the lowly workers in that place and say, hey, where are you playing Saturday? And you're going to find out every one of these people that are busting their ass to make ends meet have a dream of making a record. And they save up their tips, they save up their pennies and dollars and dimes to pay for a little bit of recording time. And to save money, they aren't hiring studio musicians like this project was that I'm referring to. GoFundMe for, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. I think it was like $50,000 or something. Because the person living at home with family wanted to secure the costs necessary to, eat and hire studio musicians and hire people that know how to write and play music to do so. I'm not sure how much of the record the point person actually was in this. It was just a way of grifting money and living. It's happened like 2 or 3 times just for this one project. You know what? Hand me 40 grand. I'll make a record. And I'll still pay my own damn bills. And you're still going to see me out there in the trenches on Wednesday night encouraging young up-and-coming songwriters. And last night was an absolute blast. Right? Because it's hard for me to wrap my head around some of these genres that have been so angry, negative, and look at all the songs that make it to the radio, right? Certainly in the rap and R&B hip-hop genre, just do not fill me with confidence and inspiration. Trying to keep up with the rest of the world, I'm sorry. Along with the coffee. It helps when I have someone else keeping me straight on here. Tomorrow we should have more guests. So I have someone to talk with and talk about because, maybe I'm off base. And I'm okay with being off base. One of the cool things about knowing that you're stupid is that you can only learn. Right? If I get something wrong, it doesn't mean that I'm a horrible human and I wish more people would embrace this fact. Right? It means that, hey, I can learn something. Like that deal in Avatar in the first movie, it's like, how can you teach, how can you fill a cup that's already full? Right? I mean, I am no Mensa, but my IQ is in the triple digits, which really only reflects that I have an interest and the ability to continue learning. And that's where I think America, or at least the culture of our current crop, our current generation, seems to, they get to a point, and I did it at a younger age. Certainly by the time I hit about 24, I realized, whoa, this needs to change. I need to learn some more. And learning, like meth, is addicting. unlike meth, it actually helps your life and is good for you. So when people think that one person is the answer to all the world's problems, they have not evolved beyond their own level of mediocrity. Right? Name your favorite musician. And do you think they were just born into that, or maybe they had to apply themselves? Who's your favorite artist? Were they able to just swap a pen and make art? No. Let's take another example, just a little bit more Usain Bolt. What does Usain Bolt do really well that nobody else can do? Nothing. What he did when he won the Olympics is something that just about every normal ambulatory human being on this planet can do. Barring physical limitations, every human on this planet can run. What sets Usain Bolt apart from the rest of us is that he trained on perfecting his run, improving his run, developing his run. Some of it is natural in his body shape and in his tendons and whatever else. But a lot of it had to do with his day after day training and practicing, just like a musician, just like a writer. But it doesn't stop there. It's not like Usain only runs. Usain also reads. Right? I mean, you can do more than what you become. Like there's an electric company down the street here that relies on their mega accoutrement, what do you call it? Bunting, right? For his business. Because his business isn't that good, but if he has an endorsement, then maybe he can get more business without having to do anything for it, like maybe do good work. And this is going to be true going forward. The more you align yourself with things that are ignorant, the less ignorant people will want to work with you. If you end up being curious and make mistakes and blatantly own those mistakes and say, okay, I was wrong. I've done that a number of times on this show when I learned something that is more accurate than what I already have. Maybe this issue with Afghanistan is out of bounds. I don't think so. Right? And I'm willing to help a whole lot of people. But after what we've been through with the Taliban specifically, and they're the ones asking us, if they were to step out completely and say, you know what? We are not a government. We are a violent religious organization, and that's what we should remain. We are not a government. If they could admit that, then we could step in and say, fine, be a violent religious extremist organization over there. And we'll make sure that your government doesn't, your country doesn't absolutely collapse, and maybe come up with some sort of GDP we can work with. But your GDP right now is suicide bombers and repression of women in education and as human beings. So y'all have fun with that. That's how you want to run your company, your country rather. That's up to you. But you can't expect the rest of us to come and save your dumb ass when we were already there trying to save you, help you in the first place. That was your decision as a country. The people in the fields, the people in the mountains, the people in the desert, every last one of you. You want to do something about it? Have an election. If the Taliban really wants help, go away. We will help the people. Right? It's like negotiating with terrorists. What the hell are we doing? We shouldn't be talking to these people. We should be sending them little pamphlets on what democracy is like. Sure, we'd love to help your company. Here's a copy of our Constitution. We just scribbled out America and put in Afghanistan. Sign it in a few places and boom, you're done. We'll help you all day long. It's an option. I mean, anybody else got an idea? Other than grifting, giving them something that they will not do for themselves, and they're expecting the rest of us to? No. Hell no. And it should have been done that way in the private sector all the way around. The banks should have collapsed. The auto industry should have collapsed. Why we're propping this crap up is ridiculous. Oh, it's going to cause economic... No. What it's going to cause is businesses to restructure so that the cats that, like the CEO of Kimwars, aren't getting $9 million in bonuses for being such heinous, horrible human beings. If we really held this to account, people like Madison Cawthorn would have never gotten elected. Right? Neither would Biden, neither would Trump. Right? If we really were a species that was wrapped up tight, the Women's Health Commission would have had women on it. Boom. And if we were wrapped tight, we wouldn't have near the issues we do with alternative lifestyle confrontations in the general public. If we were wrapped tighter, we would not have the prison population problem that we have. But no, the more the government is used as a shield for the ultra-rich, right? Because Kimwars is still making bonuses, $9 million in bonuses on a $1 million salary, and yet they won't lift a dime to clean up the water that they've been poisoning for 40 years. And somehow that kind of power, that kind of money, allowed them to avoid indictment by a grand jury. So for us who wear tennis shoes or an occasional python boot, how does that work out? Do you have that kind of power? And again, none of these people fear for their lives, really. One, they're surrounded by gun-toting psychos. They're trained, so they're good guy psychos, but, you know, anybody with a gun who wants a gun and wants to shoot a gun at people, they're a psycho. If you want to do harm to another person to the point that you'll carry a weapon, something's wrong. And don't get me wrong, I've had a gun pointed at me, and I just looked at the guy. I was like, that's you. That's on you now. Even if I had a gun, what was I going to do? Escalate? Was I going to shoot him before he shot me? No. Not in my mind. If you have a gun, you have made your decision. What you do with it from here on is absolutely on you. And until we can come to terms with that with ourselves, within ourselves, I think we're going to have this really bizarre fear controlling us because we cannot come to terms with it on our own. How's that grab you? Oh yeah, I'm around violent, drunken people all the time when I do these nightclub things. And that's usually where some of these situations happen, right? Because if it's not some sort of sexual liaison or being, turned down, that'll get a man upset. Certainly a drunk man at a club. That's where most of the violence in my career has occurred. And I just look at him like, really? You want to come after me? Yeah. The next day in court was funny. The judge is looking at me like, why are you here? And I said, because I knocked them both out. Why? Because they were drunk and they were fighting and they were risking the thousands of dollars that is my equipment. I had just got done playing a show. You want to be stupid? Fine. Be stupid somewhere else. You get stupid near my equipment, I will knock you out. And the police were really nice. They understood what had happened. He's like, I still got to arrest you, but here, let's get the rest of the gear into your car so you can lock it. Cool, thank you. That way I'm not getting robbed at the same time I'm trying to protect my equipment. I ended up getting, I would have lost twice. Even the two guys in the fight were like, yeah, I don't even know who this guy is. I don't know why he's here. Cool, can I go home now? If we were wrapped tight, we would have a lot less of these problems. And that is going to be, again, based in education. So, if we were to bring back some sense of humanities, some sense of art, and get away from supporting the bullying, right? The sports and primarily football. For anybody who's lived through high school and had the football team just absolutely brutalize their lives just because they're little jackholes. Not a fan. And I've tried to watch NFL. I've tried to get into it, and it still comes away with 14, these guys are 14. 14 million was one of the contracts, and I'm like, for what? This is no marketable skill. What's going to happen, what we need to encourage is what the Boy Scouts encourage, that if it all goes sideways, those are the skills that are going to come into play. So if your greatest skill is being a bully, being, Ray Rice type, right, that you're going to brutalize other people, including your spouse, the mother of your children, that's what they grow up to be. I mean, these people really should be in prison. Why we are paying them millions of dollars is beyond me. We need our gladiators. I get that. But I think our gladiators could go to Russia right now and provide a hell of a lot more entertainment. And you ain't even got to worry about the franchise licensees, man. America already owns Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Reserves, all that. Space Force. Right? Those are already public. We own, as Americans, we own that. Right? The structure for the Army is, of course, through a particular military arrangement. But it's still America's Army, right? The United States Army. The United States Air Force. We don't have to worry about licensing of the Carolina Panthers TM or the team formerly known as Redskins. The Commanders. It's a basement. We need to at least admit that we are a ridiculous, stupid, isolated, xenophobic species here in the United States. If we can start there, and that's, you ask any alcoholic, what's the first thing you got to do? You got to admit you got a problem. America's got a problem, but we won't admit it. Nobody will say the quiet parts out loud. Nobody will nobody will actually look into the mirror and go, wow, that's a blemish. But we'll rush to the aid of Afghanistan. Oh, look what wonderful people we are. And the Taliban's like, oh, hey, look how much money we saved. And we look like good guys on the block while we continue to subjugate, brutalize, and terrorize our own citizens. The very ones that we want you to save, because if you don't save our citizens, we have no one to terrorize and brutalize. So, tell me again why we're doing this. We want to help the people that are being terrorized, being brutalized, like the civilians that were just not 4 months ago enjoying a wonderful evening in Ukraine, living their daily lives and enjoying the new democracy and developing, a market. And then boom, Putin. But what's happening in Afghanistan's the other way around. We tried to help them. They said, get the hell out. We will shoot you. Okay, you shot us. We left. Everything from here on is North Korea, man. It's on you. You are by yourself. Maybe I'm out of bounds. I don't know. I have nobody to bounce it off of yet. I'm going to be asking those cats tomorrow, but I know it upsets the hell out of me right now. And further, keep in mind, the Taliban is a religious organization that is now the government of a country. So if your argument for God is reaction to action on this planet, a hell of an earthquake in Afghanistan to topple the Taliban is probably a pretty good place to start. However, I don't think it works that way, right? I mean, thoughts and prayers aside, buckets of it aren't going to help. Right? Truckloads. And the shipping on thoughts and prayers is outrageously expensive now. Have you seen the cost? What it's going to take is a reformed education at a fundamental, profound level. That we view ourselves in a different light, that is, getting you further away from the me first, right? If you are so overweight, so obese that you have to use an electric shopping cart, it is a greater crime that Walmart gave you an electric cart to roll your fat ass around in than it was for them to say, you know what, walk. What you should have been doing. Right? A lot of responses to bad behaved children is somebody should have spanked that child when it needed to happen. Well, guess what? We continue to reward bad behavior on every level, whether it's the electric shopping cart or the Taliban with their earthquake right now. And that's going to be part of the education in humanities, that we understand when it is that we're actually helping somebody help themselves, or when we're furthering some sort of religious oppression, as we would be in Afghanistan with the Taliban right now. I could be wrong. I don't know. This is just an opinion at the moment based on the information in the articles, the 4 or 5 articles I've read, where the Taliban is asking the rest of the world for assistance after pretty much shooting the rest of the world and telling them to go F off. And now they're begging us for help? No. Like North Korea, if they had a catastrophe, we'd laugh at them. Look, if you get out of order, if you get out of power and allow an actual democratically led, educationally free, unoppressive, women can wear what they want, and get your religion out of the government, then we'll think about it. And I'd like to see that happen in our own country. I'd love to see religion get out of our government. A spiritual advisor for the president, really? I tell you what, you're going to have a far more logical president if you got a scientific atheist like Neil deGrasse Tyson in there. Someone who could not only argue that God not only doesn't exist, but doesn't need to. Throughout the history of mankind, we have used God to fill in the gaps of our understanding. We don't need that anymore. We now know that we don't understand, and we can develop that understanding all on our own. You don't get the James Webb telescope with thoughts and prayers. You get it with diligent studying, science, research, mistakes. You're not going to get it by a blessing. And we're not going to cure the country by electing the person who thumps the book the loudest. Right? Even if they never go to church, they hold it upside down in front of a church, surrounded by tear gas and military, right? That's religion in America. That's religion in Taliban and in Afghanistan right now. Same thing. It's a controlling function. If we were wrapped tight, that would not be possible. There would be no influence of Christianity or any other religion. Jesus, guns, babies, right? What a psychotic idea that is. Run on a platform that puts people to work, that builds up something of a safety net. Allows everyone to, if you want everyone, we're pro-life and everyone's equal. Okay, from cradle to grave. Until then, shut up. You just want pro-life because babies, when they're born, cost a lot of money. And you don't realize that maybe you're not the one profiting from it, but people are profiting from the rhetoric that you are repeating. Open your eyes, woke culture. No. These are the people that have never read Orwell. Right? These are people that don't read. Well, I don't know, man. I read this article on Pornhub and, they was talking about... No, look, man. Read from some of the authors who lived through World War II, who were in Europe when it happened. The books that they wrote, certainly under the guise of science fiction at the time, they lay it out. But we just can't seem to get out of our own way. We are blinded by our own sense of Well, if he says he's a Christian, that makes him a good person. And of course, the mass murderer who repents and claims salvation while in prison is immediately absolved and allowed to share the same heaven as the rest of you. This is not the type of marketing that's going to encourage people like me to get involved. Just letting you know that. Spending eternity with y'all is not the attraction you seem to think it is. I'll just put that there. I'm not good at anything else. And then from there, we'll see how this argument goes, because I'm getting some responses from people that are saying they promise to join the show tomorrow, and they're going to help straighten me out. So y'all may want to tune in to watch TK get straightened out. I could use it, I'm not going to lie. So with that in mind, we'll see y'all tomorrow right here on a Big Talker. It'll be more of the Asylum, your refuge in a world gone refuge in a world gone bad. We'll see you tomorrow. That's how it's supposed to go.
Keeping Charlotte informed. The Big Talker 106.7 FM WFBT, Carolina Beach.
Hello, I'm Matt Bennett with WWAY News. New Hanover County residents are expressing concerns after protesters showed up at a Pride Storytime event at Pine Valley Library Tuesday evening, including community members, local church groups, and the Proud Boys. The event included books featuring LGBTQIA+ families and arts and crafts, and was intended for children ages 7 and under. In order to attend, children had to be accompanied by an adult, and pre-registration was required. One parent who attended with their 2 children says they felt unsafe when entering the library because of protesters yelling at them. The Cape Fear Proud Boys released a statement saying, in part, quote, "Pride events nationally have experienced a shift in focus from celebrating 2 consenting adults